Have you ever stopped to watch how a young child expresses their emotions? They cry when they feel sad. They scream when they feel angry. They laugh when they feel joy. They are pure emotional authenticity. But what happens to this natural emotional intelligence as they grow? Why have so many adults become emotionally illiterate, unable to name what they feel, to process their own inner storms? The answer is in the mirror. A child develops their emotional intelligence through the reflection they receive from their parents. If the parents are emotionally aware, the child learns that feeling is safe. If the parents are emotionally fragmented, the child learns that feeling is dangerous. Carl Jung revealed a devastating psychological truth. We don't raise our children. We shape them in our own unconscious emotional image. Every reaction we have to our child's emotions is not about them. It's about us. It's about how we were taught to handle our own emotions when we were little. Watch the child who cries and see how you react. Do you embrace their sadness or suffocate it with a "don't cry"? Watch the child who feels angry and see how you respond. Do you validate their emotion or punish it with a "that's ugly"? Watch the child who is overflowing with joy and see your reaction. Do you celebrate their vitality or control it with a "calm down"? Each of these parental reactions doesn't come from consciousness. It comes from the unconscious. It comes from your own wounded inner child who learned that certain emotions are unacceptable, dangerous, or wrong. Emotional intelligence isn't a technique you teach. It's an energetic field you transmit. It's a presence you offer. It's a clean mirror you make available so the child can see themselves whole, with all their valid and sacred emotions. But here's the problem. Most parents carry an unhealed emotional child within them, a child who learned to repress, deny, and shame their own emotions to be accepted. And this wounded child inside the adult is the one who reacts to their own child's emotions. When you yell at your child for crying, it's not the conscious adult reacting. It's your 5-year-old inner child who was shamed for crying and now projects that shame onto your child. When you get irritated by your child's anger, it's not your parental wisdom responding. It's your own repressed anger that doesn't know how to express itself healthily. The parenting strategy for raising emotionally intelligent children doesn't start with the child. It starts with you. It starts with the courage to look at your own emotional illiteracy. It starts with the honesty to recognize that you project your unhealed emotional wounds onto your child's psyche. Jung taught us that what is not conscious in us becomes destiny for our children. The emotions we don't process become the emotions they will learn to repress. The patterns we don't heal become the patterns they will inherit. But there is a choice. An awakening is possible. Now is the time for you to face yourself in the emotional mirror of parenthood. How many times have you told your child, "Stop crying," when you were really saying, "Stop making me feel the pain I never learned to process"? How many times have you punished your child's anger because your own anger is a destructive force you fear? How many times have you controlled their joy because your own vitality was suffocated in childhood? Do you recognize this pattern? It's because you inherited an emotional illiteracy. And now, unconsciously, you are passing this illiteracy on. Notice how you react when your child expresses fear. Do you hug them and say, "I understand you're scared, let's talk about it"? Or do you shame them with phrases like, "Big boys don't get scared," or "Don't be a coward"? Your reaction isn't about helping the child process fear. It's about your own discomfort with vulnerability. Notice how you respond when your child feels angry. Do you validate their emotion by saying, "I see you're angry, tell me what happened"? Or do you immediately punish them with, "That's ugly, I don't want to see you like that"? Your reaction isn't about teaching emotional regulation. It's about your own inability to handle intensity. Notice how you deal with it when your child shows deep sadness. Do you offer presence and listening? Or do you quickly try to fix the situation with distractions and solutions? Your reaction isn't about welcoming the child's emotion. It's about your own anxiety with pain. As long as you react instead of respond, the child learns that certain parts of them are unacceptable. As long as you project your unhealed emotional wounds, their healthy emotional development is compromised. As long as you treat emotions as problems to be solved instead of information to be honored, you are creating an emotionally illiterate child. A child isn't born knowing that sadness is bad, that anger is ugly, or that fear is weakness. They learn this through their parents' unconscious reactions. They learn that to be loved, certain parts of them must be hidden, and thus begins the emotional fragmentation. The conscious parental self whispers the truth. The child's emotion is not about you. It's about them. Your reaction to their emotion is about you. It's about your unhealed inner child. You were taught that emotions are an inconvenience. That feeling is a waste of time. That expressing is losing control. You were conditioned to believe that emotional intelligence is suppressing difficult emotions and showing only the socially acceptable ones. But Jung revealed a liberating truth. Emotions are the language of the soul. They are precious information about our inner world. They are energy in motion that needs to be honored, not suppressed. When you shame a child's emotion, you are teaching them that parts of them are unlovable. When you validate a child's emotion, you are teaching them that they are whole and accepted exactly as they are. The difference between raising an emotionally intelligent child and an emotionally fragmented child lies in your own relationship with your emotions. It lies in your courage to feel, process, and integrate your own emotional life. Do you recognize this pattern? It's because the time has come to break the cycle. Why are most adults emotionally illiterate? Why are children born with natural emotional intelligence and grow up to be adults incapable of processing their own inner storms? The answer lies in what Jung called the parental complex. The child develops their emotional intelligence through the emotional field the parents create. If this field is one of acceptance and presence, the child learns that all emotions are welcome. If this field is one of rejection and control, the child learns that certain emotions are dangerous. The mechanism is simple and devastating. The child observes how their parents react to their emotions and internalizes these reactions as truths about themselves. If every time they cry their father gets irritated, they learn that their sadness is a problem. If every time they feel angry their mother punishes them, they learn that their anger is bad. If every time they express fear their parents shame them, they learn that their vulnerability is weakness. This is the origin of emotional illiteracy. The child learns to relate to their own emotions in the same way their parents related to them. They internalize the parental critic and carry it into adulthood. Imagine the child's psyche as an emotional garden. Each emotion is like a different flower. Sadness is like a blue rose. Anger is like a red sunflower. Fear is like a delicate violet. Joy is like a golden dandelion. All these flowers need sun, water, and care to bloom. But when parents are afraid of certain emotions, they start pulling certain flowers from the garden. This blue rose of sadness is making the garden ugly. This red sunflower of anger is getting in the way of the other plants. This delicate violet of fear is showing weakness. And so, the child learns that their emotional garden is only acceptable if certain flowers are removed. They become the gardener of their own fragmentation, cutting off parts of themselves to be loved. What happens to a garden where certain flowers are constantly pulled out? It becomes unbalanced. The remaining flowers grow in an exaggerated way to compensate for the ones that were removed. The child who learns that sadness is unacceptable becomes an adult who can only express anger. The child who learns that anger is ugly becomes an adult who can only express sadness. This is emotional illiteracy, the inability to access and express the full range of human emotions in a balanced and healthy way. It is the fragmentation of the emotional self that should be whole and complete. Jung showed us that true emotional intelligence is not controlling emotions. It is integrating emotions. It's not suppressing what we feel. It's honoring what we feel. It's not shaping the child to have only good emotions. It's creating a safe field where all emotions can be felt, expressed, and processed. The parenting strategy for raising emotionally intelligent children is simple in essence. Become a conscious gardener of the child's emotional garden. Honor all the flowers. Water all the emotions. Allow the garden to flourish in its natural totality. But to do that, you must first heal your own emotional garden. You need to replant the flowers that were pulled from you in childhood. Now I will reveal the first 4 pillars of the parenting strategy that awakens a child's natural emotional intelligence. These are not methods. They are presences. They are energetic fields you offer so that the child's emotional psyche can flourish. First pillar, the presence that validates. When a child expresses an emotion, your first response should not be to try to change it, fix it, or explain it away. It should be to validate it. I see that you're sad. I notice that you're angry. I understand that you're scared. Validation isn't agreeing with the child's behavior. It's acknowledging their emotional reality. It's saying, your emotion is real, it's valid, and you have the right to feel it. Notice how revolutionary this is. You are not teaching the child that an emotion is right or wrong. You are teaching that emotion is information. It is the language of the soul that deserves to be heard and honored. Second pillar, the curiosity that investigates. After validating, become curious about the child's emotion. Tell me more about this sadness. What happened that made you angry? What is this fear you're feeling like? Curiosity teaches the child that emotions have stories, causes, and precious information. When you become an emotional investigator alongside them, you are teaching that feeling is intelligent, not stupid. That emotions deserve attention, not repression. But be careful. Curiosity is not interrogation. It is genuine interest. It is a loving invitation for the child to explore their inner world with someone who will not judge them. Third pillar, the presence that welcomes intense emotions can be overwhelming for a child. They need to feel they are not alone in the emotional storm. Your physical and energetic presence becomes the safe harbor, where they can feel everything without fragmenting. I'm here with you. You're not alone in this sadness. Let's feel this anger together. Your presence doesn't solve the child's emotion, but it offers the safe container where it can be processed. Jung discovered that emotions need a witness to be integrated. When you become the loving witness to your child's emotional life, you are offering what they need most, the certainty that they can feel everything and still be loved. Fourth pillar, the wisdom that names. Often a child feels intensely but doesn't have the words for what they are experiencing. Your function is not to interpret their emotion, but to help them find words to describe it. It seems like you're feeling rejected. That sounds like frustration. Maybe what you're feeling is disappointment. When you offer an emotional vocabulary, you are giving them tools so they can communicate with themselves and the world. Emotional intelligence is in part emotional literacy. It's knowing how to accurately name different internal states. It's distinguishing sadness from melancholy, anger from irritation, fear from anxiety. But remember, you are not labeling the child's emotion. You are offering possibilities. Could it be this? Always works better than it is this. The child is the expert on their own emotional experience. These first four pillars create the basic field where emotional intelligence can emerge naturally. When a child feels that their emotions are valid, interesting, welcomed, and nameable, they develop a healthy relationship with their inner world. But the strategy continues. There are four more pillars that complete the emotional architecture every child needs to flourish. Now I will reveal the final four pillars that complete the parenting strategy for awakening a child's natural emotional intelligence. These pillars transform validation into wisdom and welcoming into personal power. Fifth pillar, the courage that teaches regulation. Validating an emotion does not mean accepting any behavior. After the child feels seen and emotionally held, you can teach them healthy ways to express what they are feeling. I see you're very angry. Anger is a valid emotion. But hitting your brother is not a healthy way to express it. Let's find other ways to let that anger out. Emotional regulation is not emotional suppression. It is conscious channeling. It's teaching the child that they can feel everything, but they can choose how to express it. They can scream into a pillow, draw their anger, run in the yard, or talk about it. Jung showed us that emotions are energy. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Your role is to teach the child constructive ways to transform emotional energy. Sixth pillar, the wisdom that connects emotion and need. Behind every emotion is an unmet need. Sadness may indicate a need for connection. Anger may indicate a need for autonomy. Fear may indicate a need for safety. When you get sad like this, what is your heart needing? This anger is telling you that something isn't right. What do you think needs to change? This fear is protecting you from something. What do you need to feel safe? When you connect emotion and need, you are teaching deep emotional intelligence. Emotions are not inconveniences to be eliminated, but messages to be decoded. They are the wisdom of the self communicating what the psyche needs to be in balance. Seventh pillar, the presence that models. A child learns emotional intelligence much more from what you do with your own emotions than from what you say about their emotions. They are always watching. How do you react when you're sad? How do you behave when you're angry? How do you handle your own fears? I'm feeling frustrated right now because the traffic is so bad. I'm going to take a deep breath to calm down. I'm sad because Grandpa is sick. I'm going to talk to Mom about it to feel better. I'm nervous about my meeting tomorrow. I'm going to prepare well to reduce my anxiety. When you name your emotions, Show how you process them, and demonstrate healthy ways of dealing with them. You are offering a living model of emotional intelligence. The child learns. Adults have feelings too, and that's normal. There is a healthy way to feel. Eighth pillar. The celebration that integrates emotions are not problems to be solved. They are sacred aspects of the human experience to be celebrated. When a child processes a difficult emotion in a healthy way, celebrate that achievement. I'm so proud of how you were able to talk about your sadness instead of keeping it all to yourself. I loved how you used your words to express your anger instead of hitting. How brave of you to admit you were scared and ask for help. Celebration teaches the child that emotional intelligence is a valuable skill, worthy of recognition. That feeling consciously is a source of pride, not shame. These 8 pillars create the complete architecture where emotional intelligence can flourish naturally. But having the knowledge is not enough. You have to practice. You have to integrate this wisdom into the day-to-day of parenting. Now that you know the 8 pillars, how do you apply them in real life? How do you transform this wisdom into a conscious parental presence day-to-day? I will guide you through 3 integration practices that will transform how you relate to your child's emotional life and your own. Integration practice 1. The Parental Inner Child Journal. Every night for a week before going to sleep, take a journal and ask yourself these questions. What emotions did my child express today, and how did I react to each one? Did my reaction come from my adult consciousness or from my wounded inner child? What emotion of mine was triggered by their emotion? What is this triggered emotion in me telling me about my unhealed wounds? For example, if your child got angry and you yelled at them, investigate. What emotion did their anger trigger in you? Maybe fear of losing control. Maybe your own repressed anger. Maybe anxiety about not being a good parent. This practice develops parental self-observation. You start to distinguish between your emotions and your child's emotions. You begin to react less and respond more consciously. Integration practice 2. The Clean Emotional Mirror Exercise. During the day when your child expresses an intense emotion, before reacting, pause for 3 deep breaths and ask internally, what is this child really feeling? What do they need from me right now? How can I be a clean mirror so they can see themselves as completely accepted? After these 3 breaths, apply the sequence of pillars. Validate first. I see you're very angry. Be curious. Tell me what happened. Welcome it. I'm here with you in this anger. Name it if necessary. That seems like a very big frustration. This practice develops emotional presence. Instead of automatically reacting to your child's emotions, you respond consciously from your parental wisdom. Integration practice 3. Healing the emotional lineage. Once a week, do this deep generational integration exercise. Remember how your parents reacted to your emotions when you were a child. What emotions were accepted in your family? Which were rejected? What messages did you receive about feeling? Now, mentally, offer your inner child what you did not receive. It's safe to feel sad. Your sadness is valid. Your anger has important information. Thank you for letting me know something wasn't right. Your fear is protecting you. I will take care of you. Next, connect with your child now and make a conscious intention. I choose to offer you the emotional welcome I did not receive. You can feel everything and still be completely loved by me. This practice breaks generational patterns. When you heal your own emotional wound, you automatically offer your child a healthier emotional field. Emotional intelligence is not taught. It is transmitted through the quality of the presence you offer. When you become emotionally conscious, your child naturally develops emotional intelligence. When you stop projecting your emotional wounds onto your child, they stop carrying the emotional burden that is not theirs. When you honor your own emotions, you teach them that all emotions are sacred. Practice these 3 integrations for a month and watch the transformation in your home's emotional field. You've made it this far. You have absorbed the wisdom. You now know the parenting strategy that awakens true emotional intelligence. You can no longer unsee the unconscious patterns that were governing your parenting. You understand now that your child doesn't need to learn emotional intelligence. They were born with it. They need you to stop interfering with this natural intelligence with your own unhealed emotional wounds. You understand that each of your unconscious reactions to your child's emotions was teaching them that parts of them were unlovable. That every conscious validation you offer is restoring the emotional integrity that is their birthright. Recognize the revolution happening within you now. You are no longer the parent who reacts to your child's emotions from your own wounds. You are the parent who responds to their emotions from your own healing. You are no longer the one who unconsciously projects your own fragmented emotional patterns. You are the one who consciously offers a clean emotional mirror where your child can see themselves whole. You are no longer the one who teaches your child that certain emotions are dangerous. You are the one who teaches that all emotions are sacred messages from the soul. Look at your child now with your new eyes. Watch how they express themselves emotionally when they feel completely accepted. Watch how their natural emotional intelligence flourishes when it doesn't have to defend against your unconscious reactivity. Allow the child to feel. Allow them to express. Allow them to process. Allow them to integrate. Your function is not to control their emotional life. It is to offer a conscious presence where that emotional life can develop organically. Every moment of validation you offer is planting seeds of emotional self-acceptance that will blossom throughout their life. Every moment of genuine curiosity is teaching them that their inner world is worthy of attention and care. Every moment of welcoming is creating the inner security they will carry into all future relationships. You understand now that raising an emotionally intelligent child isn't a parenting technique. It's a journey of personal healing. It's the courage to look at your own emotional wounds and transform them into wisdom. It's the conscious decision to break generational patterns and offer your child what you did not receive. The cycle is being broken through you. The emotional lineage is being healed through your consciousness. What was fragmented is being integrated through your presence. Comment below which of the 8 pillars touched your heart the most. Which of your emotional wounds was most triggered during this video? What commitment are you making now to your child's emotional life? Like this if you felt the courage to look at your own wounded inner child and commit to your healing. Subscribe to continue this journey of conscious parenting, where we explore the deepest aspects of the child's psyche. Remember, you are not just raising an emotionally intelligent child. You are becoming an emotionally whole human being. The healing journey continues. The transformation has just begun. Allow your child to flourish through your own healing.